It's been a while, hasn't it? Sorry, guys. This was so unintentional, honestly. We're just gonna get straight into this, like, fuck the intro. This little, like, break. And I do this because it wasn't even meant to be a break, guys. I've been gone for a month, which isn't long in, like, the grand scheme of things, but also at the same time, I have respect for this and you guys, and I know that you kind of expect content from me, and going a month, and if I just didn't come in here and say anything, it'd be a bit, like, shitty of me. A lot of you are chill when you're just like, Jords, it's cool, like, it don't matter, but also at the same time, I feel like I do need to explain a little bit. I can't just hop on here and be like, hey guys, like, side note this. The oat-based vanilla macchiato from Starbucks, these little ones. Put it up my... No, let's not go there now, Jordan. You were like 10 seconds in. Why I was gone is not a cool story, guys. Honestly, at life, do you know what I mean? It's one of those times. But I will cover it a little bit for the people that care, and if you don't care, fair enough. Do you know what I mean? Fair enough. But I will do a bit of makeup at the same time, so I'm kind of doing a bit of both. Some people thought I completely quit this. Like, I was on TikTok Live the other day, and people were attacking me like, this bitch is not doing YouTube. I heard she's not doing YouTube anymore. She doesn't care. Not from my mouth, you ain't heard that. Mad the assumptions that people make and believe, but I get it though, it's the internet, right? It takes one person to say something, they run with it, and then they don't fact check it, and it is what it is. I'm gonna recreate the look that I had on my Instagram for my Kash Beauty announcement post, which I will be talking about in this video because obviously I've not come on YouTube yet and kind of told you guys. And I found some new makeup that I've just been putting on, wearing, been obsessed with, and anytime that happens, you guys know I need to tell you about it and hook you up. Brows are done, eyes are prepped, guys. Same routine for the brows, so they've got to be glued to stick them down, the pink honey cocoa powder and ebony to fill them in, and then the NYX Lift and Snatch, I think it's called, brow pen. I'll leave everything below anyway, but let's talk about my box that I have with Kash Beauty. Sorry. We're going to do eyes first, and I'm going to use a product from the box, so it just makes sense. So, guys, I have my very own beauty box with Kash Beauty. How much sense does that make, by the way? Because how much do I rave about this brand on this channel? I'm talking products that I use consistently in my routine, right? They're popping up left, right, and center, and this is full of, well, it's got 7 products. Faves from the brand are all in here. It's essentially my shopping list. Like, if one of you guys came to me, or a family member or a friend, and was like, Jords, what do I get from Kash Beauty? It's going to be this. Now, I named her Jordan's Dream Kash Box because that's exactly what it is. It's very special, not just because of the products inside, but guys, the price. The price. You're getting 7 items, right? A variety of 7 items. I wanted to kind of hit all different departments, right? So there's going to be something in here for you for just under £50. £49.95 to be precise. I know. This is the box. This is kind of the experience you will get, which I think is important to show you because you guys at the end of the day are spending a hard-earned coin. Let me show you exactly what you get. The fuck? There's just like some scissors chilling. You don't get scissors. Every time. You get a little card with my face on. And then on the back you have the products, about the products, and then a little message from me, which by the way, I did actually write that message. Quick rundown, you get a eyeshadow palette, a beauty sponge, cream blush, a lip liner, lipstick, and a lip gloss, and then a pair of lashes as well. This is a steal, guys. Like, I'm not being funny. Obviously, I'm gonna use everything as I go. But yeah, that's that Kash Beauty box. I will leave it below. Any support that you guys show to anything that I do, honestly, I love you. Never goes unnoticed, and don't think you're just another number adding to anything. Like, if you purchase this, show me your orders, right? Want to see the looks you create, interact with me for stuff like this, because that's what it's all about, right? I create these things for you guys. I'm sharing my love with you. Anyways, let's do this. This eyeshadow look is one of my favorites that I've done in a long time, guys. If you love neutrals, really lifting the face and just creating drama llama, you've come to the right place. Very smoky, sexy. It's almost like my take and a different version of a smoky eye, but like in a cool way. Taking the Kash Beauty Secret Treasure palette, which is in my box. This is what it looks like. I'm going to use mine though, because this is well loved. 3 shimmers, 6 mattes. I've used this palette before, I'm sure you know. But the first thing we're going to do for this look, right, is we're going to start mapping out the shape. Mapping out where we want to place the color allows us to know exactly where we need to blend. Once you've got that down, it makes things so much easier. So I'm going to take this angled brush, and I'm actually going to start by taking the shade Wreck. Starting at the inner corner, I'm going to start to pull this round. I'm almost squaring off the edge here though, so instead of keeping it just round, I'm almost going up and slightly to the side. This doesn't have to be neat. It's going to look crazy, okay? This is just mapping out where we want the color to be. And then here, I'm going to kind of pull it back and round. My tip though, go lower rather than higher, because we're going to be blending the colors down. That way if you make a mistake, it's going to be easy, because this area here is going to be like buffed down anyway, if that makes any sense. Cool. Now we're going to be taking a pencil brush, one like this, just something nice and small so we can start to buff out some color. And we're going to be brave, guys. We're going to be going in with the black in this palette, which is called Forbidden. This black eyeshadow is so good. So good. You know when it's punchy, but it blends? That is the shade. So we are going to basically start to buff out this line. Well, not buff it out, because we do want to keep that line there. I just mean buff underneath and start to create the beginning shade of this gradient. All the way down into the inner corner. And I'm actually going to be filling in that inner corner there. Try and keep it nice and tight to the line, and then of course take it out here. By the way, there's works going on outside. I hope you can't hear that. Gross men are outside. Men, yuck. Now I'm picking up another pencil brush, and I'm going to take a mixture of the brown shades. Kind of just dip in between these three here. So Fade, Wreck, and Tomb. Etch this brown right underneath that black. Don't drag it down too far because we've got one more shade to go underneath this, but we just want to use this as a transition between the black and then the lighter like browns. Right into the inner corner, all the way across again. Don't forget to do the inner corner like right here to transition it in, if that makes sense. So this line we're transitioning down, the inner corner transition it in a bit. My absence on this channel, let's discuss it real quick then, shall we? Even though it's nothing to write home about at all. Now some of you are probably going to think I'm crazy for this. If you don't believe in this type of stuff, you're going to think I am, but I genuinely feel like there was something telling me. I had this like gut feeling, essentially. It was like the universe was trying to tell me that it was just not my time to film. Because let me tell you, I filmed 4 YouTube videos, right? And something went wrong, whether it was a tech issue, whether it was the actual footage I didn't like, whether my skills weren't working. Funny thing was, right, this wasn't just a YouTube thing, okay? I did a couple of TikTok lives and my makeup went shite on those. I did an Instagram reel and there was a tech issue with Instagram apparently. Every content creation I was doing, I felt like I was falling at every hurdle and I just needed to breathe. Never had that before. And like every time it was a different issue. It wasn't like the same issue that I wasn't fixing and then surprise, it wasn't working. It was just everything was different every single time and it just felt weird. Like it felt off. I felt off. By the way, I'm just going to dip into the black again and just etch out the outer line here and make it neater. You'll see when I do this, it will all start to come together like even more. Yeah, just so odd, guys. Like the energy was so off and I felt it. I kept trying. I was producing content, but it never made it out. Do you know what I mean? So that's why there's not been content. I told you guys, it wasn't a fun story. We're going to be taking a small fluffy brush. I want it to be small so it fits in this space, but I want it to be fluffy because I want this to be really blurred out. Script is the colour we're taking here with a tiny bit of burnt, but mainly Script. This is going to buff right underneath those colours all the way back here. Don't worry about this being messy because we can clean this up. The outer corner here though, I do buff out because I don't like it to be as harsh as like here. Guys, I'm just taking a tiny bit of concealer on this flat brush here just because mine was a bit messy today. I don't know why, but don't be afraid to kind of go in and clean up. Cool, right? This look is basically about switching between your brushes, right? So go between the pencils, the fluffy, build up your colours, add where you need to, just to kind of make this as like seamless as you possibly can, right? I feel like though, this fluffy brush really does help to bring the look together because it will really start to buff and blend everything out for you. Once you're happy, let's start on the wing on the outer corner. So normally when I do a wing on the outer corner, right, I go right from here, just touching the outer corner, bring it up. However, I'm actually going to take it now following my lower lash line so it sits a little bit lower. That way it gives you a bit of room, especially if you've got smaller eyes or a smaller space here to work with. Bring it all the way out to here. So I kind of go like a third into the outer corner here and then pull it back. Before I blend it out, one thing I am going to do though is take the brush with a bit of concealer on. You can see the outer corner I buffed out quite far and I don't want that. So I'm actually just going to go in and do that. Scoop it round and just clean up. See how it's gone to like a fine little tip now? That's exactly what we want, baby. How I see it is I don't want the wing and this upper lid to connect. Like I'm gonna blur this up a little bit, the wing, not as much as here. We're gonna buff it out a bit and I just don't want them to connect. So kind of clean up here as and how you need to. I think it depends on your lid space, really. So we're going to fill in this wing with the black. Repeat the same process, going with the browns, blend it up slightly, and then going with the lighter brown, blend it up, but don't go as far this time. I go back in with the darker colours to deepen up where I need to as well once I've blended, just so it has a bit more drama. Brush with some concealer on. Now this step is pretty important because this is what's going to clean everything up. I'm going to take a pressed powder, or you can use a light eyeshadow, whatever you'd prefer. Dip a small brush in it, and I'm going to use this right in the center of the eye, and you can see instantly that's starting to brighten that up, right in the gap on the lid. And obviously where this is a powder, this is just going to buff and blur into the powders that are already there. It's just like the easiest way I find to really brighten that up. Smallest thing, but I feel like it makes a big difference, right? And now we're going to do the underneath of the eye. Again, so simple to do. Go back in with the black. See how the inner corner's obviously already been brought out? Well, we are going to take that and bring it back in. I want it to kind of be rounded off and brought in, and then I'm gonna just bring that same color along that lash line ready to be smoked out, which if I grab my brush I can do that. A couple of the browns and then buff that line out. I'm not going to buff this out too far either though, because I don't want it to be brought down too much, but that is pretty much it in terms of the shape. It's actually really simple to do. I know it probably seems like I've said a lot of stuff, like a lot of stuff's come out my mouth. As soon as you got that shape down, it's all about just buffing those three kind of stages together. This look does look weird. The first time I did it, I was like, I'm not sure where your brain was going, Jords. Ran with it, put some lashes on, and we were good. So, speaking of lashes, let's do that. I'm going to be using my trusty Maybelline Sky High Mascara. I'm always a mascara before lash kind of girl, because I feel like my lashes last so much longer. Like, I don't have to clean them as often. Realistically, the only thing that I have to do is, like, take the glue off, and that's pretty much it. Taking lashes from Jordan's Dream Cash box, of course. These ones, I think. These and the half lash from Cash are my fave lashes that they do. This is in the style Trance. They're just amazing. Like, they have that like nice sort of like flutter to them, super wispy. Like, how lush are those? And what I like to do as well is chop off the outer corner. The outer corner one you can see is a bit shorter than the one next to it, so it almost creates then like a 3/4 cat eye lash. Technically as well, they do fit my eye shape better, so let's go in. God, this is like a fresh pair. The one I've been using, I swear I've used it like 40 times at this point. The lash glue I'm using is Duo. And my personal favourite little lash trick of what I like to do, because I like the outer corner to look quite like lifted, taking the end of my lash applicator or whatever, or you can use your finger, push up on the outer corner like this, and you'll see the outer corner will just completely lift. Like, look how fluffy these lashes are, by the way. You know that lash, right, that you can wear with something a bit more simple or something a bit more like creative? Works every single time. Like, that is this lash for me. I love them. Finishing off this look with a black kohl pencil in the waterline, I'm going to be using the Colourpop Creme Gel Liner and a little bit of black liquid liner in the inner corner too. It's that time, guys. I'm going to shoot off camera, do the other eye, and then we can be back to do skin. Okay, I think we're done. This is about as even as we're going to get. I kind of wish, right, I could freeze a muscle in this side of my face, right, because I've got like a really expressionate, is that a word? Basically, there's a muscle in my face here that like naturally, can you see, like makes this side of my face higher. So like I'll be talking and it will just like twitch and go higher. So when I'm doing my makeup, this side always looks like it's higher, but it's actually not. Like when I'm resting, it's fine, but when I'm talking, it's just like anyway, that doesn't matter. Let's get into skin. So the first thing I'm gonna do is prep my skin with the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream. I'm branching more into Charlotte Tilbury, guys, and I'm enjoying it, okay? And I won't lie, this is becoming one of my favorite like moisturizers underneath makeup. Of course it chops and changes, but this is the one that I'm loving at the moment, guys. I don't mean to brag, but it has my name on it. I'm famous. I know. Do you see that though? It says Magic Jordan. And it guaranteed it wasn't even Charlotte Tilbury that did it, and it was an agency, but it doesn't matter. Take a little bit. Apply that nicely to the skin. I feel like Charlotte Tilbury knows what she's doing when it comes to like skin prep as well as makeup, which is actually kind of hard to come across, because obviously a lot of makeup brands, you know, when it comes to makeup, that's their speciality. They know what they're doing, but skin prep is just as important as like makeup. This just feels like a nice sort of thick moisturizer, but your skin soaks it up. Only thing I'm not too keen on though is the smell. You know that typical SPF smell? Does it have? Oh yeah, it has SPF 15 in. That's just me being picky though, because who gives a fuck about the smell? Like, you're not gonna notice it in a second. Give that a little second to dry down and do its thing. But in the meantime, let me talk about this primer with you. This is by Ciate. They're a makeup brand you don't really hear a lot from, right? But this primer is so good. This is the Watermelon Burst Hydrating Primer. Essentially, it's kind of like that gel hydrating formula, but it reminds me a lot of, if you've tried the Milk Hydro Grip, you know that sticky, tacky finish, gripping, hydrating primer? That is what this is, and it smells like watermelon, so it's a 10 out of 10 from me. Has these little like beads in. I don't know if you can see like these little kind of black beads. As you're blending it into the skin, they do disappear and they kind of disperse out. Yeah, it's really, really interesting, but it feels lovely to use. Glides over. It leaves a beautiful glow on your skin as well. Pretty much just massage it into the skin until I start to feel it like going kind of tacky. I don't know if you can see, my skin's like a little bit tacky. Yeah, it's beautiful. Depending on the day, I might go in now with like a pore filling primer in the center. I'm not going to today. We're not going to today. We're going to skip straight into foundation. This foundation, right, this is new to the makeup game, new to me. It's kind of stolen my heart. You may have seen a little bit about this, right, but it's the Makeup Revolution in Real Life filter. So it's the IRL filter foundation, a breathable soft matte longwear foundation. I've got the shade F9.5. It's 16-hour wear, oil free. Essentially what this claims to do is make your skin look like an in real life filter. That's it. At the moment, I've been obsessed with that nice like soft matte finish. I haven't been adding too much glow. This achieves that for me. I've only been using it for a short period of time and I already love it. And I feel like that's when you know a good foundation, right? I do also have the shade 8.5 and I like to either use this or mix it when my like tan starts to fade, but I have a fresh tan right now. So we're gonna go straight in with 9.5. Coverage as well. I mean, you'll see how it performs in a sec. I'm not even gonna cover this blemish because I want you to see how well the foundation does. To blend it in, a brush or a sponge, it kind of just depends whatever I want to pick up. But I'm going to go in with my Coco Cosmetics by Chloe sponge today. I fucking love this. I'm sure you've heard about it on TikTok. It's her Marshmallow sponge. The blend that you get with this sponge is so good. More than anything though, I just like how quickly it does my face because it goes huge. But guys, let me just say, I do actually have a sponge in my box with Kash Beauty. Here's my, ooh, it's rolling about. Here's my used one. But let's go in with this sponge. I'm just going to take a little bit of Decay or Nighter just to kind of re-spruce it back up. Layer that into it so then we can kind of blend some of that into the foundation. Blend it in. And you're about to see the goodness of this foundation. I'll do half of my face and then the other so you can really, really see the difference. Guys, can we appreciate? Before, after. Obviously the colour looks a little bit crazy right now because I am matching to my tan, and when we conceal and everything it will come together, but just look how beautiful it is. Coverage, the finish, it is that nice soft satin matte finish. Sits on the skin beautifully. It just works perfectly for my skin, which by the way, my skin type, I kind of have like oilier, like an oilier T-zone and then normal everywhere else. I don't know, man. I feel like this is another one of those foundations that proves that you don't have to spend a bloody fortune on makeup to get good products. Don't get it twisted, I love me a high-end product. I really do. When it's good, it's good. And I think that's just the end of it, right? Regardless of the price. Look how fast this sponge can just blend the foundation out. Like, done. Definitely one of my favorite Makeup Revolution foundations as well. I won't lie, I never was really like a conceal and define kind of girl. You know, everybody was raving about that foundation from them, or the conceal and hydrate or something like that. Like, I tried it and it was like, it was all right. Like, it didn't blow me away. It didn't kind of make me want to replace my current foundations, nothing like that. It was just like, nice. Nice. You know, I'm gonna need a better adjective than nice. I'll zoom you in so you can see the formula of this on the skin up close. You can see how it's settling on the skin now. It doesn't kind of collect or kind of cling to anything. It looks like makeup, don't get me wrong, but it isn't a no makeup foundation, you know? I think I love it because it is slightly more on that satin matte side. It's not overly glowy. Can we talk about as well, considering I didn't use any pore filling primers at all, it hasn't completely sunk into them. It hasn't clung on to anything. It's settled on the skin beautifully. It lasts nicely too, which for me is like quite a big selling point when it comes to foundations, especially if you're oily skin, you know? I don't want it to break up and go crazy looking. This foundation has been doing what I want my foundation to do at the moment. This has been the one I've been picking up. Makeup Revolution, I'm a fan, babes. I'm a fan. Concealer, as much as I love my HNB Cosmetics Concealer, which by the way, I do have a discount code with them. It's JordanL10 to save 10% off. I do still reach for that concealer the most. However, I'm going to go back to my Benefit Boing. This is in number 3. I like this shade because it's nice and light. You guys know I love a bright under eye. I actually still might go in with a little bit of my HNB Cosmetics Concealer in shade 0, which is like basically the white shade. A little bit over here to brighten as well. Call me crazy, but I am going to take shade 0 in the HNB Cosmetics and just pop that right here. Always looks mad, but I promise you once this is blended in, this is how you get that nice bright under eye. Using a brush for my concealer, I'm just going to tap that into the skin. See how lovely and bright that is? So it's just lifting the face. I am just going to take the sponge that I use for the foundation just to buff out that edge. The difference a bright under eye makes, I feel like I just do it with every single makeup look. Like I don't even care. By the way, I bring the concealer onto the sides of my nose here and I feel like it helps with my like cream contour. See how already my nose looks a bit skinnier and I haven't even contoured it. I feel like it almost reverse contours. Time for cream contour. Are we surprised? Primark foundation and contour stick in Chai. As per usual, same places as always. I have actually been popping the contour a little bit higher though. When I blend it out, because I use like a brush like this that's kind of round, I find it naturally lowers a little bit anyway. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm trying to buff out so there's no sort of like harsh lines. By popping it higher, I feel like it helps to give that really nice chiseled contoured look, you know? And I like to take a little bit kind of along my jawline and chin. On my nose, I like to do like a Y shape, like that. And on the sides. Why fix something if it's not broke? When it comes to cream contour, this is honestly my absolute favorite. Like, look how easy it just taps into the skin. By the way, I know a lot of you were saying you didn't manage to get your hands on this contour stick. There was a stock issue, but in the edit we made more and it was in there. I think it's down to your store though to order the stock in as opposed to it like not being available. Do you know what I mean? Like your store has to order the product in for it to be in stock, but it is available to be ordered in, if that makes sense. If you're feeling brave, maybe ask your store and see if they plan on getting it in or if they can order it in. For £2.50, honestly, this is literally like the best thing to exist and it lasts me forever. Bearing in mind, I use this every single time I do my makeup. For my nose, I'm actually going to take a smaller brush and just press that in. I'm going to try and keep the placement though, so the little Y shape, kind of bring it up at the sides of the tip of the nose and then down there, and then blend these down. I don't actually care as much as I used to, as in like be really, really precise. So before I'd make sure I'd have like 2 lines here and then a line down the middle. I mainly just like to have a little bit of color. I blend it out a little bit more. So as long as I've got a nice sort of like bronzed nose, the concealer at the sides, and then my little milk stick that I put down the center in a bit, that does it for me. And it's so much easier. We know how I feel about blush. I think I might use a couple of products today. So we're going to start with the Kash Beauty blush, like the cream stick blush in Sweet Talk. This is in my box. Look at this color. Oh my god. It's more pinky, but it does have a bit of like that peachy corally tone in it. It looks beautiful on the skin and it has a nice glow to it as well. You can even go straight in with this product. I'm actually just going to build up a little bit on my brush here, just above that cream contour, quite high up underneath the eye actually. And then I even kind of bring it round onto like the under eye area like this, all the way up to the temples. You cannot tell me that that's not the most prettiest thing you've ever seen. The color as well, just everything is so amazing. And you can see how easily it's just applying. I even feel like this blush, right, on like a no makeup day would be beautiful because it's so glowy. Kind of has that like vibe to it. Do you know what I mean? Right, this is staring at me. It's the Makeup Revolution Super Dewy Liquid Blush. This is in You Had Me at First blush, and you can see it's like a bright pink. Honestly, at the moment, I've been going between this, my Kash Beauty, and my Mitchell, you know, my Made by Mitchell blush. Bear with, let me check the colour. Here it is, Sweet Cheeks. So I've been going between like those 3. Right here, I'm gonna add a little bit of this. This is a little bit more of that like cooler toned pink. You see how it just adds like a little pop? Right before we powder, this is something I always like to do. Back in with that 0, you know, the HNB Cosmetics colour, right here, just a little dot. Pat that in, but I don't move the sponge. I basically just pounce it up and down like this until it blends, and you see how the brightness is just back. I do this in case I've taken the blush too high or if I feel like the brightness is diluted a bit. And you can see, wow. Guys, the way I've been setting my skin at the moment, I take it very seriously. I feel like I always have, but especially at the moment. I've been using powder at the moment, not just to set the skin, obviously, so it lasts, but also because I feel like it helps to really brighten. The way you powder your skin, I feel like really does make a difference in the finish of your skin and the way you want it to look. So I learned this tip from, I think it was on TikTok, I saw it from Ariel, like Kylie Jenner's makeup artist, right? He likes to take a pressed powder to begin with. I'm using the Jordana Ticia Cosmetics in Marshmallow. It's the pressed powder and loose powder combo, but I'm going to take the pressed. And basically, before I bake and brighten, I'm just going to use this to set the under eye. Tap that in, just a nice small amount. And you can see it's kind of got like a bit of a pinky tone to it. Pink's underneath the eyes, guys. Oh my God, the difference in brightness that I see for my makeup routine is just mental. I mean, look at the difference already, and I'm not even finished. Then what I'm going to do is take one of my favorite powders ever. You guys know the Huda Beauty like loose powder. This is the Easy Bake Loose Bake and Setting Powder. This is one of my favorite powders ever. However, this is in one of the new shades, which is Cherry Blossom Cake. Can you see how pink that powder is? Now, it looks scary. Believe me when I say this under the eyes. Taking a powder puff, I'm just going to sort of like fold it in half so it's like a better shape front of my eye. Pick up that loose powder and then I just press it into the back of my hand to kind of evenly spread it across the puff. And I press it into the under eye. I like to leave a little bit down the sides of my nose to kind of like bake, but everywhere else, I press this into the skin. By the way, don't worry about like the black underneath the eye. I'll fix that in a sec. It is the way the under eye is flawless for me. I then like to use any loose powder underneath here and kind of curve up here to kind of create like that C shape, and I let that do its thing for a minute. Whatever's left on that sponge, I'm just going to set the center of my face. And then for the rest of my face, I know, powder central. You know when you find a way that just works for you and your skin and you stick to it? That's how I feel about this whole like powder routine. Yeah, I'm using 2 or 3 powders, but it's so worth it, honestly. The powder I use to set the rest of my face is my Fenty foundation powder. This is in shade 235. Big fluffy brush. We go in and it's basically just to set the like outer parts of my face. Down here, obviously it's got a little bit of coverage to it as well, which I'm never mad at. I love the fact that it has a bit of color to it as well, because when I do dust this off, what I would do is grab some on the brush like this, some of the Fenty powder, and I would tap it over the top, and that way you don't leave like a harsh line, but you still get the same effect. Tap in, tap over the top, and can you see I'm like dusting away that powder, but it's still leaving that light shadow that we want, just without being like too harsh and too much. I also feel like using a color powder like this for the rest of my face helps my under eye to look even brighter. Switch the brush round to the smaller end, and I'm going to take some of this powder as well just to set down the center of my nose. Grab a little brush to dust away the powder down the sides of my nose. Very like Kylie Jenner Skin-esque with that slight sort of pinky undertone, soft matte finish, and I love, 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 love. This is how I like to achieve that, like that same type of like skin look, you know? Really, really quick, just because it's bothering me, to be honest. I'm just gonna go back in and just fix this under eye real quick. Just dipping into like the browns and the blacks and stuff and just smoke out under here. There we go. That's so much better. I know if I didn't do it at that point, I would be like editing like, Jordan, fix it. Let's do a bit of bronzer now. Who remembers this? The OGs will remember. Matte Give Me Sun bronzer. Like, this used to be my shit. I would not put this down. The only bronzer I'd ever use. And I purchased it the other day from, I think it was Look Fantastic. I was going to get it on Beauty Bay because Beauty Bay actually have MAC now, but it was out of stock, guys. I remember why I loved it. The tone of it is just perfect. If you like that more like warmer, sun-kissed bronzer look like I do, then you will absolutely love this. The color is just beautiful. You know that sort of like yellowy, warm, orangey, like goodness. That is this in a bronzer. Although it's a lot more like, what's the word? Like fallouty than I remember. Formula feels a little bit different, but it looks the same on the skin. So, I mean, I'm not complaining. Nice and matte as well, which is my favorite type of bronzer. Whatever's left on the brush, I'm just gonna take it down the bridge of my nose and on like the tip. Little top up of powder blush now, even though the blush is still peeking through beautifully, but this, I need to tell you about it. That's why I want to use it. It's a bit spenny. This little guy was, I think, nearly £40. However, I feel like a blush is something that lasts me a long time, so I don't mind spending that. Do you know what I mean? It is by Givenchy, okay, and it's the Prism Libra blush. This is in shade number 1. Just check out how beautiful that is though. So there's 4 different sections to it, but look at all the colors of blush. How stinking cute is that? It's like all different shades of like a cool toned pink. It even comes with a little Givenchy powder like puff. Now normally I would just chuck these away. For this though, I feel like you actually need it, because otherwise you end up tipping out the product. You end up with more than you need, and I feel like you don't get an even amount of like color from each section, if that makes sense. So I pop that on top, tip it upside down a couple times, and you can see you get the colour right on the puff, and you can just tap it onto the skin. Same thing on the other side. It's so cute. Like, it's almost like lavendery, lilac-y, pinky tones in this compact, which I think is so beautiful. It's so in, isn't it, this type of color of blush right now? How beautiful. I'm telling you, right, when I don't have like such a intense eye look on, like say I'm doing my everyday makeup, I load this shit on like it's going out of fashion, okay? 100% is one of my favorite blushes. Where did I get this from? It was either Look Fantastic or Feel Unique. I think it might have been Feel Unique, guys. Recommend, 10 out of 10. Love. I love it. I'm only going to put on a little bit of highlighter today, guys. Like I said, I've been enjoying a little bit less glow. So this is the Boohoo highlighter. This is in 02 Starstruck. My nose has been like my favorite place that I like to highlight at the moment. So I like to take it kind of like on the sides of the bridge up here. So then when I turn to the side, you can see like the glow a little bit on the tip of the nose too. Pop a little bit on the cheekbone as well, just to kind of even everything out, but I'll just put it on kind of really, really lightly and really blur the edges of it, just to add like a little sheen, you know, a little something. I feel like it helps the makeup to look less makeup-y as well. Highlighter. Finishing little touches before we do skin. We've already done skin. Lips. So I'm going to take my NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk right down the center of the nose, just a little line, and then I just tap it in with my finger, and this is going to sort of contour the nose super, super easy for me, like that. Normally I do a little bit on my brow bone, but I'm not today. And then I'm going to take my Missguided brow marker. This is in dark, just to add on my little like faux moles that I always do with every look. Now for lips, there is no question I'm using the one that's in my box with Kash Beauty. Like, this is one of the best nude lip combos like ever, regardless of it being in the dream box with them. Seriously, this is one of the best. Together, it's like a dream team, honestly. I mean, separately they're great, but together, so good. Starting off with the Nude Ombre lip liner. You guys know it's either this shade or Rust Nude that I use. Nude Ombre is a little bit darker than Rust Nude, and the reason why I went for this one is because then different skin tones could use this colour, you know? Kind of customise it to work for you. By the way, I'm also just going to fill in the edges. The lipstick I went for in the box is True Nude. I feel like it just works perfectly with this lip colour. I mean, you're about to watch this come together. Are we ready? Shut up. Just the best little nude lip combo. Kind of like the perfect like combo. Like it's not too light, not too dark. Do you know what I mean? I'm just gonna go back in really quickly with the lip liner just to make sure it's really blended together. Matte I think looks so cool, but we're gonna go up a level with the gloss. So the gloss in the box is classic nude. First of all, the smell of these, I just want to eat it. So good. The best, the best, the best. I don't want to hear it. It's the best. The setting spray, guys, I think I've discovered one of the best ever. If you don't want your makeup to go anywhere, I'm talking transfer proof, waterproof, everything proof, you need this in your life. Now, you have to be prepared to use this because it is essentially like spraying a hairspray on your face. It smells like hairspray, almost feels like hairspray, but you can feel it just like lock your face in. The Kryolan? Oh, I'm not sure how to say that, but it's the fixing spray. They use this in like theatre, like for theatre makeup, so you know it's good shit. It's even like a hairspray, right? I just hold my breath. Still hold your breath. You don't need a lot at all, just like a nice thin layer. You have to power through that smell. It's fucking strong, guys. It smells like nail polish remover. It makes my face feel tight. Like it feels set now. Like nothing is going anywhere, honestly. Like let me do a little transfer proof test. You know, obviously if you're sensitive to like smell and fumes and stuff, or they give you headaches, or it's just too much for you, you don't enjoy it, don't even do that. Pre-warning you now, but if you can just hold your breath for like 10 seconds while you do it, you'll be good. Makeup's done. I hope you guys enjoyed. I've been on a bit of a splurge recently buying loads of new makeup, even though I have so much. Guys, if you can get your hands on some of these makeup products, do it, because they're so fab. I feel like the makeup world is starting to like come back a bit, like the excitement's coming back. Like for a bit it was like, yawn, boring. New products are coming out, like new and exciting stuff, and I'm gassed about them. So yeah, also my Kash beauty box, I will leave it below. Full size, not sample products, good shit, like all for that. Like it's mental, especially if you're like a makeup lover or you're starting with makeup, or I don't know, I feel like they're really good staples to have in your collection. So yeah, I will leave everything below anyway. Hope you enjoyed. I love you, and I'll see you soon.